Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to today's digital deep dive session. My name is Martin. I am the legal project manager at ECLA based in Brussels. And today we're very happy to continue this conversation on AI contract review that we had a part one on back in November. I'm joined by Sean, Benjamin, Marcus, and Aswin again. Please note that questions can be asked in the chat box, and please note that the session is being recorded as well. So without further ado, I'll give the floor to Sean, please.
Thank you very much, Martin, and welcome everyone to the follow-up session on the AI contract review discussion. As Martin already mentioned today, my name is Sean. I will guide you also through this webinar. And we have three experts here. That is Aswin Parkurantaran, Benjamin Berger, and Marcus Schmidt. Gentlemen, can you please introduce yourself quickly to the audience?
All right. Thank you very much, Sean. So my name is Aswin. I'm working for stp.one as a director and responsible for the whole market. And I'm very happy to be here again with Marcus with you and Benjamin with you today.
Thanks, Aswin. Well, my name is Benjamin. I'm the technical product manager for Contract Insights at SAP for more than 2 years now. As well, happy to welcome you to the second webinar with a more detailed insight and more answers to your questions.
Thanks, Ben. Good morning, everyone. I am Marcus Schmidt. I'm the general manager of ECLA. Very happy to be here as well to continue our discussion, and I hope this will be a very lively discussion as well. And I think at this point, we can already start inviting everyone to ask questions in the chat as well, because this AI deep dive is meant to go into the questions that you have and to answer these questions. And looking at the slide that you're showing, Sean, I wonder why I'm cut off in a way that I don't have hairs anymore, but I can certainly say that I have hairs on top of my head there.
Apologies,
Absolutely,
Marcus.
I can confirm.
Something went wrong with the design, but good remark. All right, in the meantime, I wanted to launch already a quick poll. As we mentioned in the beginning of the session, this is a follow-up session. So we really want to know who attended our October session and who did not, so that also the experts know how in-depth we need to go into certain topics or certain questions. So Martin already launched the poll. Please, we give you some minutes. You can say if you were there live, if you signed up but couldn't make it live, if you signed up, missed it live, but caught also the recording that we send it out to everyone, or that you didn't sign up at all and it's the first time that you joined this discussion. So we give you some time to fill it in.
Select one of the old questions as well, as we have a lot of new joiners here, and
yes,
might
indeed.
be able to cover a lot of the grounds again. But I think that's absolutely fine. We have a good 45 minutes to go into depth of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because indeed, if I look at the responses, I think 80% didn't sign up last time. Almost 10% was there live. So yeah, perfect to bring up some questions from the last session again. All right, we will close the poll in a couple of seconds. Thank you very much, everyone, for responding. And then I give the floor to you, Marcus. We already prepared some questions for the experts, so the stage is yours.
True. So yeah, as you rightly said already, Sean, we had a webinar on that, or an AI deep dive like that in October, at the end of October already. I think it was on the 29th of October. We had a couple of colleagues there that asked very interesting questions. And we had so many questions, in fact, that we weren't able to in that specific AI deep dive. That's why we decided to have a second session today, which we are very happy to welcome you to. And we took a lot of these interesting questions that we want to cover grounds on today, together with Aswin and with Ben. But again, and I say this, I repeat myself, I would like to invite you to ask more questions if you like. We have this panel here, and all the questions that can be taken into account can be asked over the chat, and we will try to answer it. I will also look into, and that's going to be a surprise for Aswin and for Ben maybe, I will also go through the questions that we had in the October webinar again and see if one or two of the questions would be interesting to be discussed in this webinar again. But let's start with the questions that we have prepared for so far. And I think the first one that we wanted to ask was the small team question. So I start with that as it is seen on the screen as well. Can small legal teams or even a single in-house lawyer effectively use AI, or is that just a burden on top of things? Aswin, I think we should start with you here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marcus. And that's honestly a very good question, because every time when we get in contact with corporates, we get that question, and the answer is absolutely. So small teams and even a single in-house lawyer can use AI very effectively. So I would actually say there are often the ones who benefit the most. Yeah. So why is that? So because they don't have big resources, so they don't have large structures. They don't have, let's say, 5 colleagues who can review documents in parallel. So AI becomes a real force multiplier for them. Yeah? And with a tool like Legal Twin Contract Insights, so Danny is today going to show you a short use case there, can help very well. Yeah, so that's interesting for handoff routine contract reviews that would normally take hours. Yeah, so that's the one thing. The other thing is, so identify risks without manually checking every clause. And from my point of view, the most important thing is handle workloads peaks without needing extra staff. Yeah, so we know all the troubles and challenges in the legal departments. That's very, very helpful. And the great thing is, so you don't need to be an AI expert. So most users are truly productive on day one. And to answer your question again, so yes, so small teams can absolutely use AI effectively. And in many cases, they are the ones who see the biggest impact there.
Perfect. Thanks, Aswin. If you have the feeling that you agree or that you don't agree, again, feel free to use the chat and then we can elaborate on that in depth again. In the meantime, let's go to another question that we had from the call before, which goes into contract review, basically. And what I'm happy here is that we have 2 experts of a different nature. So Aswin, I would maybe characterize you as a little bit more of a generic expert overlooking everything and having the broad vision and views on things. Whereas Ben, for me, and Ben, I hope I don't insult you with that, you are more the tech expert for me. Not a nerd, but a tech expert. Really in depth with the machine room as well. You always can explain things to me that usually I don't understand because I'm a lawyer, I'm not a techie. So, but you have this kind of language skills to transform the tech language into a lawyer's question. That's why I would like to elaborate on this question with the 2 of you together. How can AI help us to review contracts and build probably a clause library again? Let's start with the generic answer with Aswin, and then let's go into the machine room with Ben on that.
Yeah, thank you, Marcus. I can absolutely confirm that Benny is the right man when it comes to tech questions. And he's able to give you this in a definition that everyone understands. Yeah, but let's give you a general answer on that. So that's a great question as well. So AI helps in 2 big ways. So reviewing contracts faster, and on the other hand, building a clause library almost automatically. So first on the review side, so when you upload a contract into the Legal Twin in our tool, the AI immediately reads the full document. So pulls out all the key clauses, highlights risks, and so on. So instead of spending hours searching for specific wording, you get a structured overview within seconds, where you needed maybe several hours or several minutes in the past. And second, building a clause library becomes incredibly easy. Yeah, so as the AI extract clauses, you can save any clauses you like, the good ones, the risky ones, your preferred language, so directly into your library. So over the time, you naturally build a high quality repository of your own best practice clauses without, let's say, needing a separate project or month of manual work. So AI can help you review the contract smarter, standardize faster, and create your own clause library almost as a byproduct of your daily work. So it helps in an extraordinary way. So that's my generic answer. And now the tech answer.
Okay, thanks, Aswin. Well, I'm getting a little blushy of you for all that. Yeah, well, sayings over me. I would like to give you an insight on the Contract Insights platform itself, and simply showing you how AI can help you to review your contracts. I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you the web version of Contract Insights. I hope you can all see it and read it, depending on the different screen sizes. Well, we got two main functions here, the Smart Check and the Playbook Check. Both functions are there to help you review your contracts. And what it simply does is, when I'm creating a Smart Check, I can go here, drag and drop my PDF, loaded the PDF file right here. I could as well search my SharePoint for that, but right at the moment I simply click into continue. And what we already did here is doing a first pre-assessment, extracting the contract partners out of that PDF file. So in that case, it's really simple. It's ABC Industrial versus Sigsoft. And we're talking about an NDA, like here, contract type. We can give the title. I'm just letting that sit right here. And we have the English language in here, and we can choose between the different jurisdictions. So we currently support about 10 to 12 jurisdictions. And it's pretty easy. It's focused on the, main European region. And you can simply click here. You can choose the general laws of England to check that contract for. And most important is that you can simply switch between the two parties. So if you are a lawyer, or an in-house lawyer or a legal department or whatever, and you are going to review the contract out of the side of like Sigsoft for this time, you can simply swap the parties and that will let the Smart Check read through your contract and get the critical parts out of it. So this takes a little while, it's like 2 to 3 minutes. So we prepared that check up front. Come simply to start the check right here, let it run through, and change to the one I just ran through. I'm going to open the evaluation so you get a better impression. The system read through your contract you uploaded with knowledge and preparedness. Just upload the contract like I did just before, and then you can go ahead and simply see, well, based on the colors, what are the critical parts in your contract. So it's really easy. Within a few minutes, you see that the contract is ran through, and you got the most critical parts of it right here. You got the summary and the risks, and then you can click through the single issues the AI found. You see here that, well, both of our companies are located in England, but the jurisdiction says, well, Dutch law shall apply exclusively. So this is something you absolutely want to check. And you can tell the system right here, well, this is what I want to adopt. I want to take care about that. This is one thing I want to talk with my contractual partner about. And so you can go through the list right here. Well, there's an excessive contractual penalty. We need to talk about that as well. And then if you go through all the found issues, we're going to simply ignore that little one here. So a blue issue is like just a side note. And if you want to go forward and discuss with your contractual partner about that, you can simply click here, generate an email, and tell him to, well, this is something we need to have another discussion on, and you can send that email right back to him. This is the case if you want to go through the contract if you have sent a PDF file. If you received a Word document, you can simply choose our Word add-in we launched a few weeks ago. We were finally able to get it through the Microsoft marketplace process. And you got the smart check and the playbook check right here as well. I'm going to the, smart check right here. And you see that there are some more because it's a different version. You can see that the exclusive choice of Dutch law is mentioned here as well. And we also got that proposed adjustment. This time I checked it for the German law. So I'm going to edit my contract right here. So another benefit of the AI, it already gives you an impression and a proposed adjustment right here. And I can simply click on apply, and I got that redlining stuff right here. And within a few minutes, you can go through your contract and improve it, send the new version to your contractual partner, and that's all it takes without having any further preparation of that contract. And the thing is, where we get back to the clause library, with every click you make here, you simply train contract insights to remind your assessment. So if you click on the thumbs up or thumbs down stuff, or you overtake an adjustment proposal, you are going to train your personal tenant data. So this one is like building up a passive clause library where it can tell you next time, well, this check or this question or this passage already came up in the past. And you already did a thumbs up, thumbs down, or you agreed with that. So you're basically building up your clause database by not training an LLM, but training your contract insights tenant data right here. A short glimpse to scene. Do we have a little more time to look at the playbook check?
Yes, we do have.
Okay,
Benjamin. Go ahead.
great.
And maybe, Ben, to interrupt here, as we're still looking into that, there was a practical question to, I think, what you're just showing in the chat, and I can read it aloud here, from Misha Menhere, when it flags a potential risk, for instance, another jurisdiction applies, is it then automatically proposing new wording for the preferred jurisdiction?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did here. I think when I got that right, we have the Dutch law, and what I did, I just took the adjustment proposal and clicked on apply. I have that red line here, where it this time it didn't override it, but it addended or appended the regulations. That slightly depends on what the AI thinks in that moment, but oftentimes it just simply replaces the jurisdictions or the risks we have here. I can click maybe some kind of here. There's a potential conflict right here. Oh, well. Okay, that's a double thing right here, because I checked that contract for German law, not English law. But maybe let's just go above here, check that. So if I would like to overtake that stuff, I can simply click here, and it will take the new wording automatically right here. So, well, I do have to agree with that adjustment proposal, but in fact, you can really rely on that most of the time. What it takes here.
That looks really good, and Misha is also happy because he said this answers the question.
Okay,
Thanks.
Good, great. So the smart check for itself as a tool or as a function, it really starts you off with no or not much of setup work. You can simply upload your PDF file, and you do not have to do anything. The AI gets an impression by the jurisdiction, by the type of the contract, and comes up with the question itself. The playbook check instead works almost the same. You upload a PDF file, drag it right here, click on continue, and then, well, we prepared already some of our playbooks, but you can search for your playbook, which you prepared in advance, or you can as well create a checklist. So you can let the AI generate a checklist for you. You can absolutely give any topic you want, give more details like please have a closer look to liabilities or the jurisdiction as well. Come into that later on. The playbook check for itself has fixed questions, and that's the big difference between the smart check and the playbook check, because you are absolutely sure that the questions you came up with in the checklist are run through the contract, and we have that here in the Word file as well, and you can also go through the questions yourself before even running the check. So that is a good possibility to go through your checklist, build them up before. That's a little more setup work because you need to create the questions, but in the end, you can be sure that all of your golden rules are run against the contract. So we got the different groups right here. I can click here, and you see there's everywhere there's a green robot which tells you, well, most of the questions are already acceptable, despite there is that, well, red robot which tells you, well, there's no practical governance law right here, and the use of the playbook check is that you can say, well, I go through the contract, run my golden rules against it very quickly without having to read like a 50, 60, 100 pages document, and then at the end you can simply see, well, there's one thing. In that case, it's just an example. There's one thing we need to talk about, and then you see, well, there's not a real problem in here. You ran through the contract really quick, and well, there's another feature which has that improvement adjustments right here, not shown in this version, but it is there, exactly the same as the smart check, where you can just adopt the adjustments like we already did right here. But the sense of the playbook check is really running your questions, not the ones the AI came up with, but your questions against that contract. So simply making sure that it meets your criterias with, yeah, well, a lightning speed instead of reading a lot of questions or pages. Not questions, pages. Okay. That's it for the moment. that's a quick overview on how AI and an AI-based system help you going through contracts really quick without having to spend much time on, doing manual work.
Looks pretty good to me, Ben. Thank you very much. So, Scene, shall we continue with the next question in that case? I think we have a question on efficiency or effectiveness.
Indeed, Marcus. So let's quickly go to the next question. That is, how effective is AI in organizations where legal work is not highly repetitive, such as when managing many different contract types and jurisdictions?
I think that is a technical question again for Ben, right?
Yes, it's again time for Ben.
Yeah, let's ask the machine room here.
Not a problem at all. Just
Aswin, you can go home already.
give me a sec. Oh no, I'm
No,
going to need him.
I'm just kidding.
He wasn't on vacation the last 2 weeks, so
I will stay. I will stay.
By the way, we have another question in the chat as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know, Ben, which one you want to take up first. So the one that Scene just read out, which is also on the screen, or we can also read loud the question in the chat, which is from Kika here. Can the tool have a relevant approval matrix embedded with different teams included so that if the clause is to be reviewed by another department, e.g. France, the clause is shared automatically for them to approve? If doable, can all the relevant departments know the status of the contract and if it is pending legal or tax or finance, etc.? So there's a couple of questions in that one question, but you will find it in the chat. And maybe that's something, I don't know, Ben, Aswin, who wants to go first on this kind of question?
It goes in the technical way.
I'm just sharing my screen again for a little moment. To be absolutely honest with you, we currently do not have a matrix or like a fixed rule set which stages a contract has to go through right at that moment. We're working on that. But we already have the possibility. You see that I'm going to zoom in a little more. We have that assigned to fields where we can really say, well, I'm going to open that check and I can assign that contract to someone else in my team. So if I am, for example, a salesperson or I'm in the procurement team and I know by communication that I have that tool running right here and I am proposed or I'm supposed to do my first check. And in that case, if I got that, well, it's just a simple question right here. But if I have a red flag and I know out of that, I have to check in with my legal department. I can simply transfer or assign a contract to another person and tell them, well, this is now on your desk. You need to check that. So we already thought about a workflow system implemented the first stage. We also have a communication like a little chat box right here where we can say, well, hi Jens, please review the critical parts again. We also got that mention thing that we can have an ad right in front here, so I can tag the one person or a legal department. We can build up teams and we can give them a note, hey, there's someone asking for your help within the tool. So that's the very first stage of doing that workflow. Not a approval matrix right now, but the very first basics are set and you are able to have a communication on the platform and interact with the different departments in your company.
Great. Okay. I hope that answers the question. Well, I think we will find out very soon. Shall we go back to the original question that Sean asked you, which goes to the effectiveness of AI for non-repetitive legal work in legal departments?
Indeed. So I think, Benjamin, if we look at that question, I saw it already a little bit in the smart check, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's indeed a very important part on doing contract checks with AI, because a usual language model, and especially a trained one or a fine-tuned one, already has more details than most of us can remember in our daily brain. So the upcoming models, they will have even more knowledge. They are trained. We are working together with external providers. We do have our own stuff. We have the ability to get more knowledge than, well, you can simply do on your own. So it is especially effective if you have a new upcoming contract or a contract type which are not working on a daily basis. So it is the more effective, the more you do not have any information about that in your daily know-how or your daily use, because often I hear departments, well, we check NDAs for like 10 times a day or something like that. In that case, the playbook check comes into play. You have your golden rules, you run it against it, and you get the answers from the playbook check. But the smart check is effective because the AI comes up with the question itself just by getting the contract type, analyzing the parties, and telling it, well, we got this party to check for. Simply just let me just drag and drop again. I'm going to share my screen right here. We can also set some focus points. You see there's a further option functionality, and if I upload a contract which I know nothing about, but I have 2 or 3 focus points, special risks or something like that, I want to search the contract for, I can just input them right here. Maybe just liabilities. Just as an example, don't get me wrong, and you can simply tell the AI, well, I have a certain gut feeling that this and that is, yeah, well, critical in that contract. Please focus on that. But in the end, you're just given the contract to the AI and let it work for you. So it's especially helpful if you do not have much knowledge about the contract and simply run it as a first time check. If you want to go on, you can later on generate a playbook based on your input. Let the AI generate, well, I got the contract like this and that. Please come up with a playbook. I can show you that right here. Go to settings, checklists, generate a checklist, and well, we got a sample name right here. We can set the checklist language, maybe do that like here. We want a minimum of 5 questions, go ahead with a maximum number of 15 questions, and we want to check a maybe a basic checklist for a software as a service SLA contract, and then you simply click on here, generate checklist. The system generates that for you, and this would be the second stage if you got through the smart check, and you have a certain impression of how that works. You can choose to go through the playbook generator. Let me just check if it came up with a useful, I think I call it sample. Yeah, and then you can go ahead and have like for 5 questions. Well, I say it saved some costs right here. Did that 5 questions, and you are now able to get in more detail to the questions. But you see, I run through the smart check. These are 2 or 3 minutes. I have the basic checklist, which is generated in 30 seconds. So I'm really quick, and I have a quick progress in checking my contracts, even if it's not my daily basis, and I do not have any idea of how that contract risks would be. So in the end, it's a very quick way to go ahead and save time right here.
Great.
All right, thank you, Benjamin. Then what we also want to quickly check by launching a live poll is last time we noticed that some people are already experimenting with AI, but others still don't. And we want to have a look at what are now the blocking factors, the barriers for you to not use AI at the moment or not adopt it into your organization. And if I'm not mistaken, Martin will launch the poll in a couple of seconds. So please, everyone, answer. And also the experts will give their view on this question. What is the biggest barrier preventing wider AI adoption in your contract review process? Is it data security and confidentiality concerns? Is it a lack of trust in AI accuracy? Is it the integration with existing workflows that's not working well? Is it regulatory or compliance uncertainty? Or lack of internal expertise? If you even have another barrier, do not hesitate to drop that also in the chat. And
I don't know if it's just me, but I see the poll and I can select an answer, but I cannot submit. But apparently others can, because I see some results in the chat already.
Yes, I can submit. So it's
okay.
maybe.
Well, then this is on me.
Yep.
Ben, what have you done here? I need technical help.
Yeah, I'm just coming over to Brussels.
This is really weird.
Let me do
I really just see it, but maybe I'm just not eligible to vote here.
Yeah. Are there maybe other people who also cannot vote? Let us know in the chat, but I still see some answers coming in.
There's somebody else who has a problem.
Yeah.
Then maybe just put your answer by copy paste into the chat. If you well, then it's not anonymous anymore. If you feel comfortable, then just put it in the chat. Otherwise, we're very sorry for the technical hassle here, and we obviously blame Microsoft.
Well, if it wouldn't be more than you, Marcus, I would have said, well, change operator. But
right.
Obviously, it's not just about the operator.
Yeah. No, it's really weird. It's just a button that is missing. So I see I can even click, I can check the box, but I cannot submit.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that. And I see that the people who cannot vote are dropping also their answers in the chat. So that's already very good. And I think 50% of the people who were able to vote said that the biggest barrier is data security and confidentiality concerns. And maybe now I have a quick look at Aswin. What do you think when looking at these results? Are you surprised by the outcome or quite predictable?
It's interesting because from my point of view, I would say there are 2 points. So indeed, data security, but on the other hand, integration with existing workflows as well. So these are the 2 relevant points we are hearing a lot in the market. But on the other hand, so the good thing is, in the beginning, everyone is discussing these points within the company. But at the end of the day, these are all points you can resolve. You can resolve. But that needs time. And that shows again that if you want to do a change management within the company, so regarding AI or implementing AI tools, you need time, and you need patience to discuss these points with several stakeholders within the company. So that's why I fully understand.
Thank you, Aswin. Benjamin, data security and confidentiality concerns. What do you think of that?
Well, that's my well, not old profession, but always a side profession, having data security on that. Yeah, and that point, it's everywhere you look, if it's the medical field or if it's the legal field, people are not very sure about getting stuff into the AI. Well, everything on the web is like publicly available. So we are working together with a hospital, and they have very high security issues. Most of their stuff is on premise. They don't give it out because of like patient data or something like that. And getting AI into that field is a really complicated process on that side. So in the end, maybe that leads us to the next question. I think that's an ideal introduction right here, because the barrier and the most important part is that you need to ensure that you have, well, a right contract with your provider, and you have to choose, well, a serious provider on that stuff. You have to look, especially in Europe, that you are searching for a partner which uses AI models or LLM models, large language models in Europe. You have to even what we did, you have to contact them and tell them, well, right here, we have like the paragraph 203 Strafgesetzbuch, so the criminal law. You have to make sure that they sign those agreements, that they have your data not to train their large language models. So there are ways to go into a secure environment. It doesn't need to be an on-premise large language model because, well, you have to buy the hardware. That's like in a minimum way, like 50,000 euros. If you want to have some reasonable device there, or you're going to rent it. So it's about like, well, a minimum of 3,000 to 5,000 euros to host a small large language model. We call them large language model, but in fact they are small right now. If we think about a local Mistral model or something like that. So the way we suggest most of the time is choosing a serious provider and getting the contracts into the right place to tell them, well, these data which comes from us over the business account, over the APIs, is not used for training. That's the most and the most effective way right now to get the providers to have your data safe in that space.
Ben, there's a follow-up question on that from Sonia in the chat. For data security, confidentiality, what are the minimum protections one should aim for them? Is it e.g. ISO 27001?
Well, this almost gets into the next question. So we're running through like a,
that's pretty good. So it's a perfect segue then. And you know, this one is actually a sweet one because this is a group full of lawyers, and I'm a lawyer myself, but I'm asking a legal question now to a non-lawyer. So, well, Ben, have fun. Have fun with that.
That's why I'm starting to sweat already.
Yeah,
now.
you should. You should. But maybe from Sonia and the one that's on the slide. How can I be used safely, taking into account regulations like the extraterritorial reach of the EU AI Act?
Okay. Well, this is not a question to answer in 2 sentences. This is a well, like a complex field. I can tell from our experience that as I already mentioned, we search for providers offering that ISO 27001. We have them signed the brow compliance paragraph, the 203 criminal law. They should as well have the information and tell you where they do host and where they do process your data. I can tell that you have to contract Mistral if you want them not to use your data. It's even if you have a business account. Well, this was like 6 to 8 weeks ago, where we researched that you have to tell them, well, I have a special account. Do not use my data right here. But even if you have like a Microsoft Azure running that ChatGPT, it's a thing where you choose your models. There is different tiers. You can run the models. You can tell, well, this model is run in the EU and it's processed in the EU. But if you have like a global model, which of course then provides more modern models. So Europe is always like 4 to 8 weeks behind the US, but you need to make sure that your data is processed in the EU as well, and not having like a global large language model which can, well, enter your data in Europe but processes it in the United States. So this is a thing where you should, additionally to that certificates, always have a look on where the data is processed as well. And getting back to that question, how can I be used safely or in a safe mode? Safe mode is not a term which comes up in the EU AI Act, but of course there is a focus on transparency, control, accountability, and if you want to go ahead and use AI, you have to identify your risk level. I mentioned the clinic or the hospital up front. Of course, their risk level is much higher than a simple NDA or another rental agreement or something like that. You wanna check. So you have to identify the risks. There is a 4-tier risk analysis or risk table in the UI Act, which tells you, well, is it a minimal risk or is it a really high risk level of your data, which are you going to deal with? And you have to, the more risk you are defining, especially maybe your data security officer, please regard or keep his thoughts in regard at that point. You have to check what your data is processed. No, let me start new. You have to check what the data is you're really processing, and you have to make sure that it is fair, it is traceable, and the thing you put in there is documented. So this is the approach which goes forward. You have the chance to have a audit log, like you have to make sure that there are logging activities. You can switch things off. So it's a forward and a backward approach for both securing and providing or using AI in a safe mode. It's like in every other process, you have to think about it first, and then you have to do the audits, control it, and always make sure the more risky your data is you're processing, that in the end you keep the human in control. We have, even if we just have contracts, we follow that rule that we have the human in the loop. So every function in our system defines that we give a suggestion and adjustment proposals and stuff like that. But in the end, it's your turn, it's the human in the loop, and that is one of the most important parts right now, I wonder how it is in 10 years or so when the Terminator comes up. But in the end, right now, we say that the human in control is one of the best ways in the end. It makes it easier, but you really need to make sure that there is a human, especially if you think about the medical parts, that a human can make the final decision right here. Okay, talked a long way. Sorry for that. It's a little complicated and it's all through in my brain, but having a little short sentence about the extraterritoriality. We had a chat in advance where people asked if they can bring out well data without the or outside the EU, run it through the AI and get it back to the EU and use the results here. And this is like the same question. The EU AI Act states that this is like the GDPR. In that very moment, an AI is used or provided within the EU. You got to stick to the EU AI Act. So it not only covers people in the EU, but if someone like ChatGPT or like the Chinese models, if they offer that stuff in Europe, they have to make sure that it runs under the EU AI Act stuff. Okay, now I keep my mouth shut. Sorry for all that long explanation.
But Ben, no, that's great. Thank you. Thank you very much. And being conscious of time, and we said we want to stop before lunch break, even though we might be able to talk all through afternoon as well. Maybe we should go into summary mode already. And for that, it's always good to have some vital practical tips, some success stories, some, what has not worked well. Should we go into that, Aswin, Ben, to go into some practical
Absolutely.
tips?
Absolutely. We should thank you, Marcus and Benny. So I don't want to bore you with not needed stuff, but at the end of the day, I think these are the relevant takeaways if you want to start. Yeah. So number one is don't get lost in AI tool jungle. Yeah? So that means choosing an AI tool that matches your team size, workflows, and contract types instead of going for most complex option. Yeah? So keep it simple. So number two is don't expect plug and play perfection. Yeah? So that's always, especially in the beginning, when you are choosing a tool, that's always a high expectation. But that means understanding that AI needs a bit of fine tuning every time. So it won't deliver perfect results on day one. Yeah. So it needs you to learn as well. Yeah. Number three is don't skip training AI on your own contracts. That means AI performs best when it learns from your actual templates, clauses, and company standards. So very individual. Number four is don't overlook data privacy. That means ensuring that every AI decision is explainable and your data is handled in a let's say, in a fully secure and compliant way. Number five, don't remove legal oversight from AI decisions. So that means AI can support you, but a lawyer must still review and make the final call. Yeah, so you are still needed. Yeah, so that's the main message here. And number six, and from my point of view, the most important thing, don't underestimate change management and adoption. So that means success depends on getting your team to actually use the tool and integrate it into daily workflows. So you can implement the best tool in the world, but acceptance in your team, in your company is really, really needed. So these are the main takeaways here.
Great. Thanks. Ben, do you have anything to add? Otherwise, in terms of time, so first of all, looking into you, Ben, do you have anything to add? You're nodding, or was it like being conscious of time? Go ahead, Marcus.
No, I'm perfectly fine with that.
All right, great.
That's the experience we got as well.
Perfect.
From the technical
Then,
view.
Then I think we have a great giveaway from Scene here, something like a early Christmas present. Everyone who participated in the webinar today will be eligible to try it out, right? We have a free trial here.
Yes, indeed, Marcus. So to close off this session, we would love to offer all ECLA members the possibility to try out the Legal Twin Contract Insights, so the tool that Benjamin shown during this session. And you have two options. You can do it with a LinkedIn profile or without a LinkedIn profile. You can request the access. I dropped already a link into the chat, but you will also receive, aside on the recording, also the link to get your trial. So if you do not immediately click on the link during this session in the chat, no worries, you'll receive a mail afterwards where you get the offer as well. So that gives everyone the possibility to start playing around with AI for contract reviews.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Scene and Azvin and Ben and Martin. Thank you very much for participating in the webinar. I think that concludes our session. And if I'm not mistaken, we will not have another webinar before Christmas. So I just start by saying have a great Christmas time. Enjoy this great Advent period, and we look forward to seeing you next year, of course. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you follow the ECLA LinkedIn profile. There is in the chat, you find the link as well to be updated on all our upcoming benefits and events as well. Well, thank you very much from my end. Have a great time, and I hope to see you next time.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Marcus.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Take care.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.